friends, welcome back to Baltic Engineer. Today I'm going to take a new initiative to explain about book reading of Secret of Keyboard Laws. I'll try to explain you through chapter by chapter. If you if you like the content, just try to share to your friends and family and try to help them as well in the trading career. So without wasting much time, let's go into the chapter one. So in this chapter one, I'll try to close within a single video. Maybe the video length may take around 30 to 40 minutes time. Just bear with me. If you have any questions, just ask me in the comment section. I'll try to answer them. So we'll go into the presentation mode. So the book name is Secrets of Pivot Wars, okay, and it is written by Franklin Ochoa, and he is the introducer of this CPR concept. So he has given very detailed explanation about the markets types and CPR, camera remotes, and many other volume profiles and market profiles and many other things. Let's go chapter by chapter in this series of book reading. Okay, the first chapter name is Understanding the Markets. So he will give a brief explanation about the markets and about explanation. The first chapter has subtopics. The first one is auction process. What is auction? Auction is nothing but the transaction between the buyer and seller. Whenever the transaction completes between a buyer and seller, it is termed to be an auction. Why the price get increased on an exchange. He gives an simple example that, for suppose, if you are having a famous painter, Picasso painting, it is a worth value of 1 lakh rupees, say for suppose, and if the open price is say 10 rupees, so what will happen? So the buyers in the exchange, okay, they will try to grab the opportunity to buy the Picasso painting. So somebody will say 20 and somebody will say 30, 40, 50, like that it will go on, and it may reach up to 2 lakhs, right? So the original value is only 1 lakh, but it has went up to 2 lakhs, correct? So why the price has went up to 10 to 20? Because there are more people who are auctioning, and the price is gearing up to the upper levels, right? So at 2 lakhs, there is no more other person who wants to buy at more than higher price than 2 lakhs. So then what will happen? The price will get stopped there. So that means the price has reached from 10 to 2 lakhs as long as there are buyers. Once there are no more buyers, the price will stop there. So basically, this is the price movement concept in the exchange, right? So the exchange is basically a place where it will have both buyers and sellers, and then they will auction the price. Okay. Similarly, there is one more example why the price will slide down. Okay. For suppose if there is a painting drawn by daughter, okay, and if it is auction say 1 lakh rupees, I know it is not worth of 1 lakh rupees, but still if you auction with 1 lakh rupees, say open price, so and obviously no one will ready to pay the price of 1 lakh for my daughter's painting, right? So it will move to 90,000, 80,000, 70,000, 60,000. No one is ready to buy, and it may move sliding downwards, say 100, 50, 60, and at last at 10 rupees, okay, maybe her grandmother will come and say, okay, I need this painting for 10 rupees, okay. So there the auction will complete, right? So both at 10 rupees, both the buyer and seller has agreed to the price. That is termed to be an auction, and it is a successful transaction. Only when buyer and seller agrees to a certain price, the transaction will get complete, and that process is called as auction. See, the painting of 1 lakh rupees, okay, it has slide down to 10 rupees because there are no more buyers. So the price will slide down as long as there are no more buyers, it will slide down. Once the price has reached to 10 rupees, her grandmother has purchased it, right? So it will not slide down still because the transaction is got complete. So basically this is what the science behind the auction, the daily what you see in the candlesticks. Okay, and I'll move to the next, that is called buyers and sellers. So there are two kinds of participants in the market. One is a responsive market, responsive participants, and the other is initiative participants. A responsive buyer, responsive seller, initiative buyer, initiative seller. Okay. Who are these responsive buyers and responsive sellers? And I'll try to take with one example. For suppose there is one land which is worth of 1 lakh rupees. Okay, and a broker has approached you stating that he will sell that land for 1.5 lakh. Okay, do you take the deal? You'll say no. You'll straight away say no. Why? Because he is offering 1.5 lakh but the actual value is only 1 lakh. You will straight away reject that deal and you will try to negotiate if the broker comes to 1 lakh price. So if he comes to 1 lakh price, you are happy and he is also happy, and the transaction will get complete and the purchase will complete. This is called responsive buying. Okay, so you will buy only when it comes to your price range. That is called responsive buying. Okay, responsive buying. Similarly, what is initiative buying? For suppose for the same land, okay, beside to that land there seems to be one multi-specialty hospital. Okay, and this land price will drastically will get improve in the future to 10 lakhs in future into 10 lakhs. So you have heard that news regarding that multi-specialty hospital is going to come near to your land. Then what you will do? You will take initiation and you will approach the broker stating that you will pay the price even 1.5 lakh to get the land. Then what the broker will do? He will reject. So he also knows that there is a multi-specialty hospital here, and he will say no, I will sell the land only for 2 lakh rupees. Okay, then what you will do? So you know that it may get increased to 10 lakhs in future because of this multi-specialty hospital, and you are going to pay this, grab this land. If you grab this land for 2 lakhs, you have a straight profit of 8 lakhs in future. Of course, that is in future. So this guy will purchase it. Do you think he will in loss of 1 lakh from the original value? No. Initiative buyer will never think about that one. Initiative buyer will think about the future always. Okay, so you see you have taken initiation to buy the 1 lakh piece of land for 2 lakhs, since there is a strong reason behind that. That is called initiative buyer. Okay, and the same person will buy the same land when it comes to his level of purchasing capacity. It is called responsive buying. Fine. So in short, if I go to the market and if you want me to sell, uh, here is a CPR. Okay, the price is rising like this. Okay, the responsive buyer will not buy here. Okay, he knows the value is lying at CPR. He will wait for the pullback. He will buy it here and he will sell it here. So he will buy at low prices and sell it higher. So this is what the responsive buying psychology will be. And initiative buyer will be, there is a CPR here, he will not buy here. Maybe once it crosses R1 level, if there is a breakout, at that time he will buy and he will sell at higher ranges. This is what initiative buyer will do. So basically, in simple terms, if you want to see, responsive buyer is like a pullback buyer, pullback trader. Okay, and initiative buyer is like a breakout trader. So in simple terms, yeah. So the next subtopic is recycling market tips. Uh, whatever chart you see, it is a replica of previous chart. A replica in the sense it will be similar but not exact. If you see a chart today, it will be replica, means it will be not replica, it will be similar to the previous chart which happened few days back. Why the market has to repeat? Because market will be handled by the humans and human emotions, right? They will not get changed even though centuries may move, but human emotions will not change. That's the reason people will remember the levels. Okay, people will have fear, hope, greed, all that emotions will be there. That emotions will get reflect on the chart, and the same chart, the similar kind of charts will get reflected in the near future as well. So that is what he is saying in the recycling market days. And the next most important topic of the chapter is types of market days. So there are total 6 types of market days. Okay, 6 types of market days: trend day, double distribution, typical, expanded typical, trading range, sideways trade. I will go one by one. The first one is trend day. Yeah. So this is the exact wording from the book. The first type of the market day that will cover is called trend day. The trend day is the most aggressive type of the market. On a bullish trend day, the open usually marks the day's low, while the close usually marks the day high, with few tick of tolerance in either direction. On bearish day, it is the same. Okay. So what he is saying, on a bullish trend day, this is what it will be. This is what it will look like. On a bearish trend day, this is what it will look like. Okay. So opening will be the day's high, and closing will be the day low. Opening will be day low here, and opening closing will be the day high. So this is the textbook definition of the trend day, but it need not be the same in the real world. I'll try to show some examples as well in a chart. Here, how can you identify by trend day? The market will typically start fast on this type of day. Just remember this word: start fast on this day, and move prices farther away from the value. Okay, the more participants will enter the market, creating sustained, understand this word, sustained price movement on increased volume. Initiative buying or selling is the culprit. So on trending day, who will be responsible? Not the pullback trader, I mean not the responsive buyer or responsive seller. It is the initiative buyer or seller will be responsible for the trending day. Okay, I'll go to the example. If you see here, the first day is very strong bullish candle. It has crossed, means it is about to cross R1. Okay, and it has never turned back until it is reached almost some 300 to 400 points straight away from the first candle. It has went straight upwards. See, the opening is here and the closing is here. It's a pakka trending day, right? We'll go to the next. Yeah, on one more example, one more pattern I want to say. This is green line is 20 MA and red one is 50 MA. Okay, usually I'll use these two moving averages in my chart, and these forms a pattern called railway track pattern. So people will call it as RTP. RTP means railway track pattern. So these two moving averages will move in parallel to the price rise, and you can assume there are some rails in between, means what we call it, sleepers in between the rails. So they call it the railway track pattern, and whenever this forms, it will be a trending day. Okay, if you see on other days, it won't be like this. You will have some crisscross. See, for suppose if you take this day, okay, there are some crisscross. It is not at all railway tracker pattern, and it is not a trending day. So whenever you find a trending day, you will have a two moving averages parallel to running each other. So I'll go to the next slide. One more example. See, this is one more trending day. The first 5 minutes has closed above R1. Take a dip here, and then move upwards. It's a straight 300 points, 300 to 400 points, more than that. And see the railway track pattern. No crisscross, right? Here, a bearish trending day. The first 5 minutes has crossed S1 here and made a book big down move. There is one more trending day. Okay, it has taken a dip over here and then move upwards. So you should be able to identify this kind of days. You will be much profitable, right? So before that one, you should identify what kind of day it will be based on the market dynamics, right? See, nowhere the moving averages has crisscross, means they intersect. I think we have one more example. Yes, see here, one more bullish candlestick at R1. Price has gone to R3. It has moved to R4 as well. And see the railway track pattern, no intersecting, right? This is Pakka bullish trending day. One more example. See here. So this is not that much bullish candle. Maybe you can wait and you can take it at this bullish engulfing pattern at this R1 level, and you see a big move from there. And there is one more bearish standing day. It has crossed S1, big down move. So that's the end of the trading day. So what do you understand by trading day? So it will start at one point and it will end at one point. This will be done by whom? It will be done by initiative sellers. Okay, there are no more responsive buyers. Responsive buyers will not do trending day. Only initiative sellers will do, because at this point of time they know that it will go even more lesser, so they can book the profit here. They sell it here, they book the profit here. So here it went to consolidation sideways. So the next day is double distribution day. I hope you might have understood the trending day. If you have any doubts or any thing, you can ask me in the comment section. The next day is double distribution trending day. So if you go to the textbook wordings, this day is a trending day. In no way has the confidence or conviction of a trending day. So it is also a trending day, but it won't be having confidence of a trending day, of a trend day. It will have very less confidence. So that is the reason it will start with a indecisive nature. It will start with the indecisive nature at the outset of the session. Means at the beginning of the session it will have very indecisive nature, and then it will take a trending move. And one more important point is it will trade in a tight manner, tight range in the first 1 hour or two, okay, of the session. In the first 1 hour or two it will trade in the tight range, and then it will start giving a trending move once the initiative buyers or sellers enter the market. Okay, so what he is saying is there will be a distribution here, means one phase of distribution. If the responsive buyers has pitched in, they will take the prices higher, and there is one more distribution here. So this is what he'll say: first distribution, second distribution. This is what he called as a double distribution trending day. So it has trended, right? But it will have two distributions. I'll show you the chart here. Yes, this is the example given in the book. Here there is one distribution with a narrow balance. Narrow balance in the sense it will have very indecisive nature first of all, and it will not go. It will not understand where to go. And once here at the break of these lows, initiative sellers will enter the market, and they will try to take the market downwards, and they will book the profit here. First distribution, second distribution. That is the reason it is called as double distribution. I'll explain you with one simple example in real time. This happened on June 4th, maybe. Yes, June 4th. See, in this range, market doesn't know where to go. It is consolidating here itself. Once it break here, see the bearish Marbosa candle here, okay, and there is one bearish Marbosa candle, and the market has dipped downwards, and there is one more distribution happened here. Means the initiative sellers who has took the position here, they have closed the positions here, right? So there is one more example here. See, so up to here the market doesn't know where to go. Means it is given a long wick. It is trading inside the range. Okay, once there is a value, means at the value, uh, once it has crossed the range, it has moved upwards, and there is one more distribution here. Distribution always need not to be in a rectangle. Okay, it can be anything, but it has to be indecisive nature. So the market will be confusing state at the start, not at the end or not at the middle. It will be at the start, it will be like in a confusion state, it doesn't know where to go. In that phase you should be careful where the market is going. So here the market has gone upwards, similarly the market can go downwards as well, right? So you doesn't know where the market will go, so you should mark the high and low and just observe that whether it is breaking high you can take the long position, if it is breaking low you can take the short position. There is one more here. In this range market doesn't know where to go, it is lying there for more of the time, or most of the time. Once it break the day low, it has moved to the next support level and it took one more distribution. There is one more example here. See, market has started with a big red candle. I think it is repeated today. See, this is called recycling of market days. Okay, so this is May 27th, I believe. Okay, and May 27th is the same day what we are saying today. Today is what is the date today? It is 13th July. If you see 13th July Bank Nifty chart, it has started with a red bar, okay, and then it consolidated almost for 1 hour time, and then it has taken the upward journey. See, it is also same. It has taken the red, and then it has consolidated long more time here. First distribution, a breakout, and then it has moved upwards. How much points? Almost 300 to 400 points, right? It has happened the same thing today as well in Bank Nifty 13th July 2021. So this is called this is a perfect example for recycling market days. So a day which happened today, it might have happened in the history as well in a similar nature, but not exactly in a similar nature. If you see here, even the market doesn't know where to go, whether it want to go upwards or downwards. But once it took the break of the lows, it has moved to the downward. So this is one distribution and this is one more distribution. There is no clear distribution here, but we can term to this double distribution. Yeah, there is one more example here. Market is in completely range bound for almost up to 1 o'clock from start of the session, and then it has given a breakout and it has moved upwards. Here also the same, consolidated means distribution, down move, again one more consolidation. Yeah, this is the today's chart, that is 13th July. Today's chart has started with a big red candle and it has consolidated for almost 1.5 hour time, and then it has moved upwards some 300 points straight upwards. Yes, this is also one of the best example. See, in this range the market doesn't know where to go. Once it broke, okay, initiative sellers has taken the control and they took the prices downwards. So almost this is also some 300 points I believe. So that's the examples for double distribution sale. So it is also means I'll try to synopsize the double distribution trending day. It is also a kind of trending day, but it will have less conviction. Okay, at the start of the session it will be in very confusing mode. So that is one of the thumb rule you can identify the double distribution trending day, right? I'll move to the next day, that is called typical day. So if you go by textbook definition, on this type of day, price rallies or drops sharply to begin the session. So during the start of the session itself, you will have a big red candle or big green candle and moves far away from the value, and it will give an opportunity to responsive participants to enter the market. So on a typical day, you will not have any initiative participants. You will have only the responsive participants, like a responsive buyer or responsive seller. Okay, so if you consider this is a CPR, you will have one big red candle, and the responsive buyers will pitch in here, and they will take the prices higher. Okay, and the responsive sellers will pitch in, and they will take the prices lower. So it will trade in this fashion. So it doesn't know where to go. So this type of day is called as typical day. So it will, when it will, this kind of thing will happen is it will happen during economic news at the start of the sessions. I'll show you one example, then you will get a better understanding. So it will have very long initial balance at the start itself, and then it will move inside the range. Okay, I'll show one real-time example to you. See, there is one big red candle. Oh, after seeing this red candle, if you sell the market, it will see your stop loss and it will hit it. Okay, after hitting your stop loss, again it will go downwards, and it consolidated, and it traded within the range, initial balance range. Here is one more example. Prior day is very trending day, and the next day you have typical day where it is traded within the range. So this is called a typical day. So the high and low you can mark, and it is traded entirely inside. This is one more typical day. So actually here the response, sorry, here the I told you, right, it cannot be accurately as per the rules written in the book. The market will behave as it likes. So here, whom do you think the price has taken up to this level? It is not the responsive sellers, it is the initiative sellers has took the price, the control over here, and they took the prices very low up to S3, and here the responsive buyers has pitched in, they took the prices again to the value, right? This is one of the typical day. It has, if you mark the day high and day low, and it is traded much within the range. One of the best example for typical day. And okay, I'll summarize this typical day. You will have wide initial balance, and you will trade within the range. This is the simple explanation of typical day. The next one is expanded typical day. So it is very similar to the typical day. What is in, you will have moderate IB. Okay, it will trade within the range, and at late afternoons you will have breakout. You will have breakout here, and it will see the prices higher, or it may have the breakdown, and you will see the prices lower. So this is expanded typical day. So it will have a range expansion during the late afternoons. So I'll go to the textbook definition. It is similar to typical day. Usually begins the session with early directional conviction. Okay, initial balance will be wider than that of the double distribution day. So on the double distribution day, you should have very low IB. Okay, on the typical day you have very high IB. On the expanded typical day, you will have moderate, means more than this and lesser than this, right? So on this day it will be trading completely in the range. On this day it will be trading complete in the range up to afternoon. In the late afternoon you can have the breakout, or breakdown or breakout, anything might happen. I'll show us a few examples. This is a chart. Okay, moderate initial balance, and it is trading within the range, and in the late afternoon it will give breakdown, and it see the prices at lower end. See here, this is the day, this is the IBL, and this is IBH. Okay, initial balance high, initial balance low. It is trading inside the range for most of the day, but at IBL it has violated and it has broken the IBL, and it has took the next support. This is called expanded typical day. So the range will get expand. It is just similar to the typical day if there is no breakout. It is one of the next example. See here, this is the day high, this is the day low. It is traded inside the range for most of the day, and at the late afternoon it has given the breakout. I'll summarize the expanded typical day. It is most similar to typical day. Only thing is it will have breakout in the late afternoons. I'll move to the next day, that is trading range day. There are the last 2 days are there which are called trading range day and sideways day. So these 2 days seems to be a similar one, okay, but there are quite a distinctive feature is there. That feature I'll explain you. So on a trading range day, okay, it is like a ball of sorry, game of tennis. So once the prices reaches here, okay, it will create an IP. Once the prices reaches here, it will move downwards. Responsive sellers will sell. Once the prices reaches here, responsive buyers will buy. Once the responsive sellers will sell here. So it will trade inside a particular range. That is called trading range day. Okay. So when it will happen? It will happen due to responsive sellers and responsive buyers and not by initiative traders or initiative participants. I'll show you one example here. See, this is a wide initial balance. Yeah, the next day is trading range day, where you will have wide initial balance, and once the price has reached to the day low, the responsive buyers will take it higher. Okay, once it reaches the day high, the responsive sellers will take it low. So this is called game of tennis. That is what he referred. So whenever the ball reaches here, they will hit. Whenever the ball reaches here, they will hit here. So the trading range day is a simple tennis ball game. So the next day is sideways day. So here there will not be any tennis ball game, no tennis ball game. Okay, and it doesn't know market doesn't have any conviction to go in any direction, and both buyers and sellers will refrain from trading. Okay? So this type of session will happen usually during the release of major economic reports like RBI events for Bank Nifty or results for stocks or any news events or in advance of a trading holiday. For suppose if there are any 2 to 3 trading holidays and before day is Friday, so this day will be a sideways day. There will not be any conviction because many smart money people they will go for a long weekend, right? So they'll go for all this. They will take this day also as leave, and they'll go for long weekend. That's the reason if you have any series of holidays, the prior day will be a sideways day. Don't trade in that kind of ranges, and you just follow the footprints of the smart money. So this is the typical sideways day. If you see the price, it doesn't know where to go, and there is no conviction for both buyers and sellers, and the entire range will be like this. So this is one of the sideways day. No buying, no selling, nothing. Let me see if there is one more slide. Yeah. So that's it. The type of market days. So you should identify whenever you are able to identify the type of day, and you will be the success path of the profitable trader. Right? So every day try to cultivate a habit. What kind of day it will be, and try to check at the end of the day whether your assumption is right or wrong. and uh, and many people think that if a person is a day trader and he has to trade all the days. No, it is not like that. You should trade only on the profitable days. If you take a trade, it has to be high probable profitable outcome, then only you should enter the trade. Don't enter for small targets. Okay, if and I can understand if it is for scalping. For retail traders, no, it is not at all helpful because you'll have a lot of transaction charges, brokerages. So deducting all those charges, no, you'll not have any at your hand by the end of the month, right? So you should learn to eliminate those unprofitable days. Okay, and only trading the most favorable market conditions, and you will prosper in this game. Okay? In this game of trading, you should have a understanding on which day you need to trade, on which day you need to avoid, or you need to take a holiday. So more often you need to take more holidays, and less often you have to take a trade. Only when you have lot of conviction that you will be profitable by the end of the day. So that kind of days you need to identify them. Hope you like the video and you learned something new, and I'll try to continue the series by going chapter by chapter. This will by completing this market days, the chapter 1 is completed, and I'll make another video with chapter 2 soon. Okay, so if you find this content helpful, please hit the like button, and subscribe to the channel, and please share to your friends and help them as well. And if you have any doubts, please comment in the comment section. If you have any doubts, I'll try to answer them. See you. Bye bye.